Welcome guys. Wargaming has removed me from the CC program, and in this video I'm going to tell you why, as well as the circumstances of the whole thing and the events that led up to this. I'm going to show you my conversation with Wargaming, be completely transparent with everything they said, and react to every single thing they actually told me, as well as dive into the deeper aspects of why they made this decision. As you may know, I was very vocal about problems in this game. In multiple videos, I discussed that the state of World of Tanks is not really good, and the lack of action from Wargaming, the fact that they're not introducing any new patches, the fact that they're not introducing any new tangible content into the game, other than monetized slop that we have seen for the last couple of months, has put the game into a very bad place. I was very vocal about these problems, and I shared a lot of constructive feedback and constructive criticism on things that could have been made a lot better when it came to World of Tanks. With update 2.0 on the horizon, I honestly had zero expectations from Wargaming. I didn't know what to expect, I didn't know how the update was going to be, whether it's going to be good for the game, and if I'm gonna enjoy it or not. Wargaming reached out to me saying that they wanted to mend our relation and repair it. And I was very open to this, even though not knowing how 2.0 would affect me, if I would like it or not, and if my community would enjoy it. But I was very open to producing positive content about the game in the case that the new update was actually going to be good. The whole story started when patch 2.0 got released on the Asian server, in preparation for the EU and NA server release. Wargaming gave access to CCs to test out the new patch on the Asian server using special press accounts, of which the credentials have been all sent to us prior. The update was set to release on the 1st of September on the APAC region, so I told my stream on the 31st of August that I'm going to stream the new update the next day, and we're going to test out the new features, the tier 11 tanks, what 2.0 brings to the table, and many more other things that my community was excited about. After I started my stream, I recognized that, I realized I cannot log in into the account because, well, the password's invalid or whatever. So I reached out to the CM that gave me the password, and so then I told my stream, okay, well, this is very inconvenient because I promised you guys I would stream, show you guys the new content. 2.0, new tanks, everything. Well, guess what? I have no account now, so I cannot do that. And then so they hopped into my Twitch instantly, and they were like, yeah, maybe we should give the account back, and that's what they did. Very strange behavior, very unprofessional, and if I didn't even reach out to them, they were like, oh yeah, you know, why should I send this guy a message and notify him that we actually revoked the account? And they literally didn't tell me anything. I only found out by myself. It's just so unprofessional. And at that point I was like, okay, this is weird. Like, I was ready to create some really good content, and I actually did. I posted 3 videos, very positive 3 videos about the new update for 2.0. 3 different tanks that I really much enjoyed playing. They are honestly, one of them already reached almost 100,000 views in just a week, which is a really good number for my channel because, well, back in the day I was getting numbers like this, but back in the day the game was much more lively than now. And now the game is, you know, it's starting to get resurrected bit by bit. I got quite sick and I couldn't really stream for that long, but I was really enjoying the new content. I was enjoying 2.0, the new tanks, and everything, including the new matchmaking and the vehicle rebalance, which the update brought with itself. And yesterday, just before I was about to post my 3rd video, the light tank video you guys can see, by the way, on my channel previously, I got the following message. Dear Kajzoo, after careful consideration, we are ending your participation in the World of Tanks content creator program effective immediately. To be clear, this decision is not being made because you voiced criticism. This is important. Constructive feedback has always been valued, and it was one of the reasons you were invited to the 2.0 summit in June 2024 and included in follow-up discussions. However, your long-term content strategy has remained consistently misaligned with the values and goals of the program. Over the past year, your videos have frequently focused on themes such as World of Tanks is dying, problems of what, and the end is near, often disregarding any and all context shared with you directly during the summit or in private conversations. And here comes an important detail into aspect. Wargaming disappointed me countless times, and I could go on an endless list: BZ176, XM, multi-tier round fighter loot boxes, to name a few, but the list could go on. On that very summit, yeah, I knew about the tier 11 tanks because there was the 3 summits, right? 2 in London, 2024 June, 2025 January, that was in Vienna, and 2025 this summer. I was only invited to the very first one where they outlined the whole thing, what they were gonna do to the game, that 2.0 is coming, we're gonna get tier 11 tanks. But I honestly had no idea about what tier 11 tanks are gonna be. I had no idea about the ability, whether they're gonna have abilities at all, actually. I had no idea about whether they're gonna be real or ChatGPT. I had no idea about any of this. I knew about the matchmaking that's coming. I knew that the core is going to get reworked, but I didn't know what that meant for Wargaming, right? The new matchmaking can mean a lot of things. So until I knew specifics about the new matchmaking, I literally had no idea, so I could only guess in the dark. And, well, the personal mission campaign was not introduced for 7 years after the Object 279. And don't tell me that putting a couple of tanks as rewards and literally rewriting an existing code in the game that is responsible for personal missions takes millions of dollars or 7 years to produce. I honestly don't believe this. So they're acting like this is like the biggest revelation. We got one new map, which is already on my ban list. So they essentially wanted me to shut up about in-game problems that make our gaming experience significantly worse until they deliver 2.0, of which I didn't even know how it was going to affect the game, with a ton of ongoing disappointment that was added on top of it, such as the ramped up FOMO monetization. They wanted me to hold my mouth and pretend everything is fine with the game, while giving me absolutely nothing that I could have possibly shared with you guys, such as, oh, don't worry kajzoo, don't worry, we're working on it. You can tell this to your community. We are working on it. Don't worry. We essentially couldn't share anything about the update and not even tease that something big was coming. This was their communication strategy. I was growing increasingly unhappy with the game and the lack of content or meaningful updates. And that is why I kept voicing my opinion while providing constructive feedback in each and every single one of those videos. We've raised concerns about this narrative in the past, noting that it undermines trust and makes it difficult to maintain a productive working relationship. Despite that, your content approach did not change. Even so, we extended goodwill by continuing to share early information regarding rebalancing and the personal campaign. Unfortunately, the continued direction of your content, combined with the promotion of competitor titles during the rollout of our largest update, for which you also received additional support and visibility. Additional support and visibility for what 2.0? What kind of visibility have I received Wargaming? Demonstrates that this partnership no longer fits your content strategy or priorities. So the partnership does not fit my content strategy or priorities. The only thing I would like to do, Wargaming, is make content that is positive about the game. When you release content that is good, I will make positive videos because I enjoy it. When you don't release anything to the game, only overly monetized FOMO slop that we have seen the last couple of months, without any meaningful updates, without anything tangible, I'm not going to keep my mouth shut because the community deserves more. The Content Creator Program is a business-to-business partnership built on mutual trust, respect, and professional collaboration. These are not optional values, they are fundamental to how we work with creators. As such, we cannot continue a partnership where those principles are no longer upheld. We also remind you of your ongoing obligations under the NDA you accepted. All confidential information shared with you is expected to remain protected. It's kind of weird, like threatening me now with the NDA, even though I've never even disclosed anything that was under NDA and never even got close. Very strange. With this termination, the matter is considered closed. Should you wish to clarify anything privately, we remain open to a respectful conversation. Thank you for the time and effort you've contributed to the program. We wish you the best in your future creative projects. Best regards, World of Tanks publishing team. After this, Wargaming essentially kicked me from the CC Discord without even giving me a chance to say goodbye to my fellow creators. Not very nice, is it? And you know that they say they don't want to silence the criticism that they receive. First they silenced Ayuxin for telling people not to buy loot boxes, and now they silence me because I speak my mind and I'm honest about whatever I don't like about the game. If there's some really bad things, I always speak my mind. So is it really clickbait if I make a video like big problems with World of Tanks and I talk about big problems with the game for 24 minutes straight? And things that need to be fixed. When I make a video called The State of World of Tanks and I talk about the state of World of Tanks for 23 minutes while providing constructive feedback on what could be changed into a positive direction so the game would be better. When I broke down why new loot boxes are evil and the psychology behind the whole thing, on how they make you wanna buy more and more and more and FOMO and all that. And then another thing is my favorite, is World of Tanks dying? The question, is World of Tanks dying? Is not a statement. It's meant to be a video that actually explores why it may be getting depopulated over time and actually portrays and lists all the reasons why the game might be losing player base because of things that have not been addressed for years. And on top of that, most of my content, like if you look through my channel, 97% of my content is positive content and is bringing massive attention to the game. If that is not free marketing for the game and the publisher, I don't know what is. And even some of my older videos that didn't really do that well, even those like got a lot of views recently because people have been actually checking out older videos. It's also the content creators that are meant to bridge the gap between the publisher and the player base. And I've said this many times in my videos. When things are going into a good direction and you as a content creator enjoy the game, you make enjoyable content, you make positive content, your audience in return is also going to resonate with that if they enjoy the content as well that the game publisher is providing them with. So there's going to be a positive synergy, which then the publisher will actually, the publisher will reap its benefits. You make good content, people enjoy it, people like you, that's it, simple. But then when you neglect your project and you don't actually invest bare minimum for months and years, and only push out overly monetized content for a long time without actually any visible effort, and the community does not see that you're doing 2.0, because you chose that you're not going to disclose anything about it. You also had all the content creators shut up about it and not share anything. Again, I only knew about the bare minimum, that the outlines of where the game is headed. I didn't know the specifics, because the specifics were shared on the other 2 summits. On the 3rd summit, people could actually play the tanks themselves and play the patch, play the update, as far as I know. So again, it's just a lie that I was fully aware of whatever is gonna happen. Now, in my experience, when a company says that you are misaligned with their values, it can actually mean 2 different things. When you do or say something incredibly controversial that the company cannot simply agree with, they obviously distance themselves from you. And when you go against their preset rules, which according to Wargaming I didn't, quote unquote, you did not break any rules of the CC program, which basically means my removal wasn't about misconduct, it was optics. Furthermore, they also admitted that my War Thunder and Steel Aces streams weren't the main reason, only the final drop in my removal. This proves it wasn't about rule violations of the program, it was about me not aligning with their marketing narrative. So you could call the whole thing essentially plain censorship and punishing me for speaking my mind about things in the game that sucked and made our gaming experience worse. They also said that it's not about silencing you, but also acknowledge the community will say we're trying to silence you, they're free to believe so. Now, if feedback is truly valued, why does disagreeing with their messaging and our partnership? Is feedback only valued when given to them directly and not openly discussed with the community? If feedback is truly valued, as they say, why do they only take action when certain situations get out of hand and are no longer defensible? They also openly admitted that it was a business-to-business relationship. In other words, they didn't remove me because of dishonesty, toxicity, or breaking agreements. They removed me because my content was deemed too honest, completely disregarding the fact that every time they provide us with good, positive content in-game, I always made videos about that, essentially marketing it for my audience and portraying the game in a positive light. And when Wargaming reached out to me, stating that they want to mend our relationship, I was happy to do so, especially after playing 2.0, since I genuinely enjoyed the content and had loads of fun with the new tanks. I posted 3 videos within 10 days, and it was overly positive, and said nothing that portrayed the 2.0 update negatively. And even though one of them almost reached 100,000 views, they simply said it was too late. But how can it be too late if my feedback and passion are truly welcome? If you're good at reading between the lines, I believe that they have made this decision a long time ago. But they wanted to wait for their community sentiment to turn positive following the new update and to please the community with the free tech tree lines and all those new shiny gifts that you get after logging in. Once the community sentiment turned positive, they were ready to get rid of me. And let's be honest, the amount of good content released in 2.0 is overwhelmingly better than the monetized stuff that we have gotten in the past few months. And I recommend watching Incoming's video about this. It's very interesting and eye-opening at the same time. In the end, what this really shows is that rules are indeed different for everyone. Wargaming doesn't want creators that freely speak their mind without censorship, but align creators who only share negative feedback directly with Wargaming and not their audience. Even though my criticism was done in a respectful, constructive manner within the CC program's rules, I am out. I would like to talk about how Wargaming wants to get more visibility on World of Tanks. To its space, they have drops. They have different drop campaigns. Now the problem with drops is that only the biggest streamers really benefit from these drops, because they get pushed to the top of the category even more artificially, and they get to reap all the benefits from that. And so smaller content creators get pushed to the bottom even more. It essentially creates a very competitive space for content creators, and it's kind of tough. If you don't start your stream at like 13, 14, or even earlier, you will not see like maybe only 50% of your viewership if you will start like later in the afternoon. It just basically puts you into workhorse mode. You don't really have time to do anything else. You wake up, you have breakfast, and you have to stream instantly for like 10 hours, and then that's it. It's all nice and well, Wargaming promotes World of Tanks. They give the category a massive visibility on Twitch. Yes, they get people to like 15, 20k views, and this is the Twitch side of things. Of course, for Wargaming it's great because, they pump up the numbers, they get to numbers of like Lyric or Summit 1G, literally any kind of really big content creator with organic viewership, because let's be honest, drops inflated viewership is not organic, because people just go there, they leave the stream on like 1%, and then they leave the stream running for like 4 hours. And the streamer gets to run ads, they get to take all the ad revenue from that, even though that person is not actually engaging or watching the content. organically, he's still there, and there's a statistic that actually counts for the viewer numbers. And the sad part about it is, you know, us who have more sizable YouTube channels. I'm not the biggest YouTuber by any means. Viewership on YouTube is 100% organic. You will not get views from someone that doesn't decide to click on your content and watch it, because that is what I call organic. Like on Twitch, an organic viewer would be someone that actually engages with he watches you for hours, writes in the chat, engages with you as a streamer. But a guy that just goes there for drops is not an organic viewer, because he doesn't do anything. He just leaves the stream on 1% so he gets to farm the drops, and that's it. Yes, and the other thing is, not a single time Wargaming has reached out to us, YouTubers who are more bigger on YouTube than Twitch, to give us an opportunity to actually get new people to register with a referral link. Not a single time they gave us this opportunity. It would have been great, and I think it's a great way to measure engagement when it comes to driving new players to the game. Like if you have a tracking link which people register through, and then they can see, okay, how far did this player actually get? Did he actually get to tier 10? Did he actually like enjoy and continue playing the game for thousands upon thousands of battles? No, nothing like this. And I'm not talking about monetary value in this for a YouTuber. They could literally just give me like, I don't know, 10 bonds per player that registers to the game. Something, you know, something. But we didn't get any support whatsoever for this. And then people are like, oh, but you know, kajzoo deserves to get booted from the CC program because he was biting the hand that fed him. But did Wargaming really feed me? It's the community that really feeds me. It's the community that watches my content, watches my videos, watches my streams, engages with them, God forbid enjoys them, and that's it. Wargaming only gave me once special drops campaign for a charity stream I did for a hospital in my home country, Hungary. That's it. Besides that, the same stuff as everybody else. Even though I have amassed 26 million views on YouTube over the last 5 years, which I think for a smaller channel is actually quite nice. For a game that is, what, 15 years old. You know, not even a single referral link, not even a single... So does Wargaming really feed me? Of course I get early access to tanks that I can then make content of after a deadline. I can make content on those tanks, sure. But the majority of my views were never from that. It was from videos that actually positively portray the game. Playing with friends, testing out new tanks, new tactics with those tanks, and a lot of different things like this. So when it comes to feeding me as a content creator, I really didn't get anything besides having a press account that, you know, is very convenient because I can show you guys whatever tank you guys want me to play on that day, like in the forms of tank requests, or basically the drops that people get. But nowadays, when I joined the CC program, only the CCs were getting drops. And after I joined the CC program, not short after, they basically made the most drops category wide. So anybody that streamed World of Tanks would get these drops. Now, apart from being a creator, how do I feel about it as a person? Deep down, of course it hurts. I've poured years of my time, energy, and passion into this game, making content for the community. I've stayed up late editing videos, spent hours testing new different mechanics, and shared as much constructive feedback as possible. All because I genuinely care and I wanted to make the game better. To be removed for my honesty, it stings, obviously. It feels like I wasn't valued for who I am and for who I was, but for how closely I could echo their message and align with their narrative that everything is fine with the game. I never wanted to tear World of Tanks down, and I've always wanted to help improve it. And when Wargaming delivered good content, I always celebrated it and made positive videos about it. And when it gave us overly monetized systems or broken mechanics, I always spoke up. Not out of spite, but because I wanted Wargaming to take action and make the game a better place for its players. I still love playing World of Tanks, and I enjoy the new 2.0 update. And it improved the game on a lot of levels that I wanted them to fix. So I'll keep playing and making content about it, and I'll keep sharing my perspective with you guys. Because at the end of the day, my loyalty is to you guys, the community. Thank you for watching.